Hey guys, Bukulit here. I'm going to give you a video real quick. And we're going to talk about the Schumann resonance again, okay guys? I got some stuff here I really want to, talk about. Seen a couple other channels. Not really a couple. I think I seen Brian did one. Brian Knight. I think he did a video. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. I watched about 20-30 seconds of it, and then I got called away to go do something. I need to go back and watch his and see what he has to say about it. I'd imagine what I'm getting ready to say and what he says probably pretty similar. But anyway, we're talking about Schumann resonance and why is this even important? I'm going to go into that a little bit. And thank you guys for leaving Nate some good comments. I think I'm going to have him help me with some videos. Maybe do some research and get him talking on some of these videos. He's 12 years old, and dude, and he just, I'm telling you, he's a smart kid. And I think that we can all learn from each other. And when I say that, I think we can learn from our kids. I really do. I learned so many things from just paying attention to my kids and to my friends' kids. Nate is one of my best friends' kids. One of my best friends. It's one of their kids. And man, and they're more like family to me. They always have been. It just is what it is, and I just want to thank you guys for throwing him some comments. I'm sure he really enjoyed it. I haven't had a chance to really talk to him yet about it, but I will, and I'll relay some messages to you guys. So thanks again for that. And but anyway, guys, we're going to talk about why the Schumann resonance is even important. But first, I want to show you what I think is very odd about this. First, the length of this. Okay. And yes, this is a very large disturbance for a very extended amount of time. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here, guys, this is what really caught my eye after this event was kind of over. And I went back and was looking at stuff. Look at the time here. That's at 19, right? Okay, that's UTC time on the 16th. Look what time it ended. 19, which is UTC time on the 17th. I mean, if I could get it down to like a pinpoint it is almost exactly on that 19 hash mark. Okay. And there too, look, right on that 19 hash mark. That's 7 to 7 UTC time, exactly 24 hours. Okay. Now, that was my first, like, what? Really? Okay. That led me down this train of thought, okay? We've seen disturbances before, but normally they're not this long. They don't last this long. Normally they're about, yay big. Okay, we've seen them bigger than that, like this big, okay? But I've never personally seen one this long. Something else after I started going down this way of thinking, and I thought this the other day too. If it was natural, wouldn't it look like that? And what do I mean by that? I mean that it tapered in and then it tapered down. Okay, things that are natural, that's what they do usually. Now, if we just get like a jolt or whatever, which is why I chose this picture from the gallery. You see this right here? Okay, we can see that, but what I'm trying to tell you is it didn't last any length of time. The ones that last lengths of time, you normally see a taper up and a taper down. Okay? We did not see that with this. Third thing. Over here on the left, it tells you the strength. Remember yesterday in my video, I told you 7.83 is our base level hertz. Okay, and it is, because it kind of stays right there, right? Well, this chart reads up to 40. Oops. Okay, that's 40 right there, right? So we have, this hit 40, and we have no idea how high it went. Okay, frequency is a very powerful thing. And this is where I'm going to go with this video because I want you guys to understand how important the Schumann resonance is. There's been multiple studies done, and I'm not going to even go into any of those because there's so many, is what I'm trying to say. It's easy to go out there and find and get information on this. It's directly related to mental health. Okay, I said that in my video yesterday, and it's the same here. Okay, not only is it directly related to our mental health, it is directly related to our physical health also. So if you guys start hearing ringing in your ears really bad, they call that tendonitis. I think that's what they call it. Yeah, tendonitis or something like that. Not tendon, but tendonitis, I think is what they call that. You know, a constant ringing in your ears or just periodic whatever. Our ears will ring, you know, normally every once in a while anyway. But if it happens frequently to you, you know, when it does happen, pop over and look at the Schumann resonance and see if it's elevated or out of the ordinary. Okay? If it is, then you can, if you have a history and you kind of remember, you can, you know, basically you can attest and say, hey, yeah, the Schumann resonance is making my ears ring. It's a very legitimate thing to say. You know, is that a really horrible thing? Well, you know, it can be for some, but for most, no. But what I'm getting ready to share with you here is where you can kind of get an idea of how important this is. Okay, there was a doctor that lived, you know, he was born in 1888. Dr. Rife was his name. His theory was frequency. Frequency could, I think they called it electromedicine is what they called it. And it's not like, you know, the horror stories you hear, you know, shocking brains and, you know, lobotomies and all that kind of stuff. That's not what they're talking about here. We're talking about radio frequency that's done, and they, you know, choose a frequency, and basically it killed cancer, guys. Okay? And I'm not advocating for any of this. I want you guys to know that. But what I'm getting ready to share to you is you should really perk up and really pay attention. Okay? Because what happened was, you know, obviously this is an article written at Spooky 2. Okay, you guys can go look at this. You know, just Google that and you'll probably find it. But you know, there gives some stats from 2018 of cancer, all those kinds of things. Then it talks about Dr. Rife and what he was doing. Okay. Basically, there were 16 terminally ill patients. Okay, I'm gonna kind of read this a little bit with various cancers. Back in, guess what? 1934. Let that sink in for a minute. Okay? That's a long time. That's 90 years ago. Yeah. So anyway, the first 14 patients that were terminally ill, these guys were terminal. They were going to die. They had no chance of surviving. That's what terminal means. They're going to die from it. Okay? So that's probably why they agreed to this. This is a non-evasive, non-painful procedure that they do to these guys. Okay? It says the first 14 patients recovered in just 70 days. We're talking total cure, guys. Back to normal life in 70 days back in 1934. 14 of the 16. This is where it gets really cool, okay? Incredibly, the patients only required 2 3-minute sessions per week, I believe. Yeah, per week to achieve total recovery. Okay, this was done in a medical trial. All right, and then guess what? It talks about, as we go on here, the other 2 patients came back. He adjusted the frequency, and they were cured too. That's 100%. It cured these guys. Now, I don't know what kind of cancer, any of that kind of thing. I don't know, whatever it is. And again, I'm not advocating for this. But there are facilities out there now that are using this. And it's helping. Now, the explanation or the picture that they kind of paint here to kind of help people understand is they relate it to like an opera singer. Okay? You know, we've all seen even actually might have seen this in person, where you hear somebody sing. It doesn't have to be opera, it could be anything, and they hit that specific hertz or that specific frequency, and it will break a glass or break a mirror or any of that kind of stuff. That is real. Okay, that is a real thing that happens. So he took that, that's the mind thought of this, and he would find the frequency to these specific kinds of cancers and how they acted, and he would adjust the frequency to be very similar to those cancer cells, and it would actually destroy them like a glass breaking. Okay? So that was the basis behind this. That was the technology that they used, and I'm sure there's so much more to it than what I'm saying here. Okay, but this is all we're given. This is the information we're given. This is in 1934. Well, the next question is, why didn't this take off worldwide, right? Well, I don't want to get this video all jacked up or anything, but you guys know where I'm going with this, right? It's the companies that control the little round things we put in our mouth and swallow with water. Okay, I'm not going to say the name because my video, it at least won't get put up there in recommendations if I say that word. I'm almost positive that's part of the algorithm. So it starts with a P and an H, and it goes on from there. I'll stop there. So like PH, C, okay? Just put it to you that way. Anyway, that's what this guy did, okay? And he did it through, I think it was Southern California College. Yeah. Okay. Let me find the group here that he used. Yep. He says that as a final test, the University of Southern California appointed a special medical research committee, and they went out, and those were the findings. Okay. Now, why did I even go down this road? Well, I went down this road, guys, just to tell you how important and how much frequency affects us as humans. We're water-based creatures, guys. Water can be put in, you can adjust frequency around water, and you can make it into any shape that you want just by adjusting the frequency, the vibration. Okay? So that, if we're mostly water, you can guess that's why this thing messes with us when it's going all crazy. All right? That's why the Schumann resonance does this to us physically. That's why. That's the explanation of why. Now, then we start talking, well, before I go into that, I'm going to show you these. Okay, you can actually buy these machines, guys, online. Oops. You can buy these machines online. Okay, I've seen them in the range from from like $1,200 up to like $5,000. Okay, but if it's going to do what it claims it can do, obviously it would be something you should consider. But not only are they doing that, and obviously you're not going to be able to buy these here in the United States because we have regulations here that other countries don't. And that's where the other, I think they have these in UK where you can just readily just go pick one up. But there's also other options in other countries. You see this? This is a procedure room. They're doing these in mainstream medicine in other countries. And it's working. Does it work 100% like it kind of claimed in that article? I don't know. But I guarantee you the big companies there are not wanting it to take off because then it's going to get into their pockets, right? That's one of the biggest industries in this world, if not the biggest. A lot of power can be held with that. You're talking about people's health. That's where the power lies. If you control somebody's health, you control them completely. You really do. So that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm getting at here. This is why this was so crazy. Now, Dr. Rife was born in 1888, and he lived till 1971. I believe it said he died from a heart attack. But, I think I would guess that he got threatened. I'm pretty sure that he at some point actually went bankrupt, if I remember the article correctly. You guys can go research him, fully. He's out there. You can just go type in his name, and you'll find all the information on him. But there's going to be conspiracy stuff all around it, just because of the subject matter. But anyway, I wanted to bring that to you guys and just tell you how important it was. Now again, look, that's what it looked like. That's what happened. Okay, it's like somebody flipped a switch and then turned it off. All right, it's not CERN because CERN's not operating right now. At least they say it's not. You know, without physically going over there and looking, I mean, I guess we have to take their word for it. Plus, other things usually happen when CERN gets fired up, not just this one thing. We had some pretty decent sized earthquakes, like 4 to 6.4 range. A lot of them were fairly shallow, and we had like 2 5-point ones down, way down close to the South Pole, close to Antarctica. Now it was on one of the lines, but it still was really far south, and that's a pretty decent sized quake to have that far south, or for that matter, anywhere. And they were like 10 kilometers deep, which is very, very shallow. Okay. Also, this is what our magnetics look like. Okay, this doesn't look that bad, right? I mean, it's what we would think when we look at this, but if you factor in the Schumann resonance, this kind of plays right into it. And what I mean by that, we always talk about this. Oops. Again, keep in mind that they can make shapes, right? Frequency can make geometric shapes. But we always talk about this backside pressure, right? Well, this is, our bow shock looks pretty normal. It's got the double, which is usually what we have out there. This is becoming more and more normal. But what I will point out is, number one, the shape of this total kind of looks like an egg. But what struck me about this was the lack of pressure around us. We usually see at least some light blue, and then when we start talking about, stuff that's going to affect us here on the Earth, we're talking about yellows and reds that get up into here, right? Is this just a side effect of what happened to the Schumann resonance, or is this part of the reason? I don't know. Basically, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying here. But there you go. Okay, this is the same time frame. This all happened in that time frame. And we can go look at all this, but again, I want to point out, look at this shape. Okay, that can be achieved by frequency. Just saying. Okay, we can look at Saturn and its poles. I talked about that before, how the hexagon is there on the pole. Obviously it's probably because the frequency of the planet has changed, which means most likely the core of the planet has changed on some level. Because that's pretty much where our vibration and stuff, I would think, would come from, is from our core, the inside of us. But anyway, guys, I wanted to bring that out to you. Again, actually, I'm going to take you guys over here to Mr. MBB3's channel real quick, just to take a look at the current Schumann. Okay, this is how I get there. Okay, you just go to Mr. MBB333. It's his web page. This is not a YouTube channel. Okay, it's a good place to go. There's a lot of good galleries here. There's a lot of good information, links to good information, tools and things. But over here on the right, you see where it says Schumann resonance, that tab. Just, click on the tab and it'll take you right here. Okay, and it tells you, the most recent data. That's just, it's all kinds of odd to me, guys. But anyway, guys, God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.